Well, the owners of Toronto's beloved Kitten and the Bear Tea Shop are bringing the art of afternoon tea to bakers right across Canada with a new cookbook, and it goes on sale today.
So joining us live now on the couch are authors and couples Sophie Kaftel and Bobby Zelensky. Thanks for being with us today, and congratulations on your beautiful new cookbook.
Thank you very
so
much.
So, Sophie, let's start with you. I know that you guys started by making jams and then kind of delved into these beautiful scones that Nick and I are about to inhale. I am a scone girl. I love scones. So first of all, how did you two meet? Was it over a love of tea, jam making?
We actually just bumped into each other one day.
No kidding.
And from day one, it was kind of like we couldn't get enough time together. And we were both working in industries where we spent a million hours apart and eventually decided it's time to come together and work together. And we've been inseparable since.
So you gelled over jam.
That's right.
There you go.
So tell us about the tea shop before we get into your cookbook, which of course is an outgrowth of, I'm assuming, of the shop here. But what is it? You know, you've got this assortment of food here in front of us. How does it all come together?
So when we first started, we were just looking for a kitchen to make the jams, and our first storefront that we found had a little storefront. And so we said, what goes with jam? Oh, scones, that makes sense, a cup of tea, and it really just snowballed from there. So we're still really jam focused. We do over 100 flavors a year, probably.
Wow.
You know, freshly baked scones every day, and
you can walk in for all of your scone, jam, afternoon tea favorites. We have it all ready to go. We also do like catering and that kind of thing. So
I sometimes feel like Canadian culture is very coffee-centric. I'm not going to name any brands, but I think we all know what I'm talking about here. So how have you been introducing tea and getting people more into a cup of tea versus a double-double, as it were?
You know, when we first started, we really wanted to make tea fun. I feel like there's this sense of tea culture that it's very like detailed and specific and almost like wine. You have to know the leaves and where they come from. But from the beginning, we just really wanted to make it fun, approachable, no rules. You like what you like. You want to put cream in your black tea or you know, milk in your white tea, or milk first or tea first, you know, whatever, you know, makes you happy, right?
What are we drinking, by the way?
Absolutely.
this is a local tea company called Sloan Fine Tea, and it's their heavenly cream.
That's delicious.
Yeah,
they
they're
do
amazing.
a great job.
It's so good. So you guys have teamed up, and now you have a cookbook out today with 90 different recipes. I've made muffins before, which I think are pretty simple, but is making a scone, because I understand there's this whole Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about, you know, the difference between a scone and a muffin. Is it that much harder to make a scone? I'm assuming you guys made these beautiful, you know, different scones we have here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like anything in the culinary world, the first time's likely going to be a little rough, but it's all about just persistence. Make it a couple times, and really, as long as you put all the ingredients in there that the recipe says to, then you make it and eat it fresh out of the oven. I guarantee you it's going to be at least an 8 out of 10. And from there, it gets like a little bit better.
Right?
Just go with warm butter and you're fine.
Yeah, that's a good tip here. And about these recipes, are these recipes that you've developed, or these are some of your favorites that you're like? How have you sort of cultivated or curated? Pardon me, the book.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for about 10 years, a little bit over. So they're basically our most treasured recipes. They're our best sellers, the ones that have kind of stood the test of time. It was really important to us for everything in the book to be accessible. We didn't want any ingredients that people were gonna struggle to get their hands on, equipment that was really specific. So there's no piping bags, nothing that it's approachable.
Tea for the people.
That's it.
Forget Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake, let them eat scones, and I think we should do
Let
that.
the anchors eat a scone here.
Exactly. Very quickly, what are your favorites? Do you have a favorite scone or one that sells the most from your shop?
So our signature buttermilk is always the best seller. That's the one we started with. It's just a plain buttermilk scone. It's really neutral. It's great with jam and cream. And then over the years now we have rotating flavors. And most of the best sellers are in the book.
Wow.
So,
well, this is delicious.
Yeah, you've
I think that one's my favorite.
This one, is this a blueberry one?
It's a blueberry crumble, and then you've got the lemon lavender on your
Sophie, Bobby, thank you so much. Good luck with the book. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
How to store food to reduce waste. This stat might shock you, but close to 40%.
All right, I've got some tasty treats, Lisa, that is for sure. And of course, you know, in this current cost of living crisis we're dealing with, rising food prices, it has seemingly become more difficult not only to eat healthy, but also to be able to afford what you're eating. But our next guest has a solution to getting scrappy with food waste in the kitchen, some scrappy cooking. Carly Bodrog just released her highly anticipated cookbook. Here it is, showing us some easy plant-based recipes. Carly, great to meet you this morning, and congratulations on this book.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here.
I've got to tell you, I was checking out all your Instagram. You know, you have all these incredible easy recipes on your Instagram last night, and I suppose you've amassed a lot of that and put it into this book here.
Sure have. There's about 150 low-waste recipes, and really the key here is to reducing our waste, because in Canada, we waste almost 40% of the food that we buy. It's just astronomical.
I have to say, it drives me nuts when at the end of the week I'm sort of dumping stuff into my green bin because I'm like, I can't do anything with this. But then I look at your Instagram, I go, okay, I can, and I suppose it's in the book. So, Carly, take us through what you've brought here. This is citrus cabbage slaw here?
Yeah, so stop throwing out your broccoli stems. You can shave them up. They're completely edible.
This part, the bottom part?
The bottom part.
I always throw that out.
If you're paying for your broccoli by weight, you're throwing out the majority of the broccoli when you throw out the stems. They're super nutritious and delicious, so you can grate them up, put them in a slaw. You can make broccoli stem fries, all sorts of things. Never throw them out again.
No kidding. Okay, so
Yeah.
I just kind of thought that there was some broccoli hidden in there, but you've actually
just grate it up.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really hot tip. How about this granola here? There's a coffee aspect to this. Is it caffeinated? Is that what that means? Yeah.
So we're using our spent coffee grounds. So if you're a coffee drinker and you have those spent coffee grounds, you can add a little bit to your granola. This is a chocolate mocha flavored granola. It is so delicious, and that coffee actually brings out the chocolate flavor even more. And another sweet tip for your spent coffee grounds is you can actually put them in your fridge like baking soda, and they'll act as a natural deodorizer.
Really? I mean, again, every weekend I'm just sort of taking it out of the coffee thing and just dumping it in. I didn't like this is really reduce and reusing, isn't it? Yeah.
And the other thing you can do with spent coffee grounds is actually use them as a plant fertilizer. So I don't have a green thumb. There are some plants this works for and some that don't. So you'll want to use Google for that, but works as a really good plant fertilizer.
Apparently that's how they grew this plastic wall. Not really, obviously. Okay, let's move on to here. Orange peel chicken tofu, obviously. But this is the thing I noticed about your dishes. They all look incredibly appealing and visual. Like it's, you know, we eat with our eyes, as we say.
Yeah, so this one's definitely takeout inspired. And the thing I want to tell people is all the recipes in my books and that I do are entirely plant-based. One of the single biggest ways we can reduce our environmental footprint actually starts with reducing our animal product consumption. So this is a really delicious orange peel tofu recipe. And you can tell by that it's so crispy and delicious, and we're using the zest from the orange. We've got some candied orange peels in there. Just so good.
I saw what you were doing with lemon peels in one of your videos as well. Just remind our viewers what that was about.
Yeah, I am so obsessed. It's my favorite. Yeah, just the peel. You can actually dehydrate it and grind it up to make lemon peel powder, but one of my favorite ways to use it is actually zest those lemons, put them in with cashews, nutritional yeast, and garlic in a blender, whip it up, and you've got the most glorious pasta sauce. I call it my lemon peel pesto, also in my book, Scrappy Cooking.
And so is that part of this? No, this is carrot top pesto.
Carrot top, carrot top. So do not throw out your carrot tops. There's so many things you can do with these. You can make a carrot top chimichurri. They're delicious. They almost are reminiscent of parsley, but I love to blend them up again with some cashews and nutritional yeast and garlic to make a carrot top pesto. And the other thing I like to remind people is this can also apply to things like radish tops, beet greens that you would normally discard. You don't need to throw any of them out. They're super nutritious and delicious.
So because of what you're mixing, for example, this isn't what you necessarily would see in a pesto, but because you're mixing it with the oils and the garlic, could you sort of taste test it in front of people and they probably wouldn't know the different ingredient necessarily? Especially
if you're going to mix it with basil. It would be undetectable, but it's going to give a different flavor, a new flavor that you maybe haven't tried, and it's really healthy for you because you're eating a more diverse amount of plants, which is great for your gut microbiome.
Right, exactly. Okay, let me ask you this thing. Some people leave things in their fridge. You might think for too long. Is there, I mean, there's no best before date printed on a carrot that's sitting in your fridge. How do you know if food is just cannot be used?
Absolutely. So I am not a proponent for eating food that has spoiled. Once it's gotten to that point, it's time to go in the compost bin. But I always say use your senses, your sight, your smell. You can tell if something has gone like a little bit slimy or it smells, and then it's time to go. But the biggest key here that I tell people and Canadians is that we need to be more mindful about the food that we're bringing into our home. That's a low-hanging fruit here to reduce waste. We waste, on average, as families, $1,700 Canadian per year. That's a lot of money, hundreds of dollars per month. So just be more mindful about meal planning and bringing that food in your home in the first place, and you're 90% there.
Okay, good luck with the book. It's Plant Use Scrappy Cooking. Carly Bodrog joining us here on CP24 Breakfast this morning. Good luck with this book. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate that.
Well, with World Health Day coming up this Sunday, you may be looking for a new way to keep healthy. Well, fear not, because Golf Canada is out with a new campaign, and they want you to consider golf as a new answer to improving your physical, social, and mental well-being.
That sounds pretty good. So Golf Canada's Tim McLaughlin joining us live here at CP24. Tim, pardon me, good to see you this morning. Golf, I mean, you can get out, you can get a good walk spoiled, is what Mark Twain has called it, of course, but it is a great opportunity to get some exercise in here. What's the sort of gist of the campaign then?
Well, one of the things we understand about Canadians is that a lot of them understand the connection between golf and physical and mental health, but it's really only about 30% of Canadians really understand that direct connection. And golf is actually a positive contributor. It contributes to really all of the criteria for improved physical and mental health, according to the World Health Organization. And so our approach is to really juxtapose what people think they might know about golf with what they might not know, which is that it could add 5 years to your life potentially.
Wow.
It contributes to potentially reducing your risk of 40 chronic diseases. And so we're about to launch on World Health Day Sunday. Golf, it's good for you. It's a campaign that we're really hoping to drive some of the impressions about how great the sport can be for physical, mental, and social health.
Yeah, you've got a lot of information coming up on your website leading to, the research that shows all the benefits. And it does check so many boxes like getting outside and exercise. But, I'm interested about the mental aspect because for me, when I play golf with my husband, I mean, it can lead to some fights. I could be throwing some golf clubs and being like, oh, I didn't get it. So why is it mentally good for you, you think?
Well, just being outside, firstly, is obviously important in terms of just getting outdoors, that's a big help. But also, it really helps contribute to reduce risks of things like dementia. And as well, the social aspect of it inherently, over 70% of golfers say they have an improved social life as a result of golf. So there's lots of ways that it contributes to mental health.
Yeah, despite being frustrated.
Despite at times, the play potentially causing some headaches for you potentially.
And Tim, if you do have a headache, the pill bottle you brought in, those pills are a little hard to swallow. Let's talk about these.
So we made some fun first aid kits that we're going to be sending out to some lucky people, and the whole idea is that we really see golf as your prescription for a more happy and fulfilled life. So
look at that.
Oh my
we
gosh, that's
packaged up
hilarious.
some of these golf balls inside a pill box, and so really our idea here is that golf can be a prescription for a more fulfilling, healthier life. We're going to make it easier for people to track their progress with health. So the Golf Canada app is one of the leading golf apps in Canada. You'll be able to track your steps through it now. You'll be able to track things like elevation changes. So you'll actually be able to look back after a golf season and see how far you walked, how much elevation you gained, even heart rate. So it's something that is also great for everybody. You can play it your entire life. And, it can be modified for people with disabilities. And so we think golf is a great opportunity for really anybody to stay physically active.
And you talk about that for everybody, and you talk about people with disabilities, but I want to focus on the accessibility issue because I think for a long time the mental perception is, oh, golf is like a rich people's sport. But there are a lot of public courses. There are ways that, as you say, everyone can participate, right?
Absolutely. And I think, we celebrate golf in all its forms. And so obviously the traditional form is 18 holes on a golf course, and there's lots of affordable ways to do that through municipal courses, which we are supportive of.
Right.
But also there's great opportunities to get involved at simulators, which have popped up across the country. And so, at Golf Canada, we really celebrate golf in all its forms. If somebody has a club in their hand, that's a great thing.
Okay, so you have a club in your hand. You've laid out a putting green for us. Bill has just taken a dozen and missed on every single one. You may have been heard them clinking off the back of this. So, Tim, why don't you show us how it's done?
Well,
what's a proper
they do not employ me, just so we're clear, they don't
so.
employ me at Golf Canada for my skills. That said,
we don't employ Bill for his
we'll see what we can do
either.
here. Yeah. We need some good forecast, Bill. We're getting excited about the golf season.
Okay, come on, Tim.
Okay, 2 shots. Is that the?
Yeah, let's take 2 at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see who.
A little inside out there. Okay, give it a whirl. All
yeah,
right.
this is about the time of year we get the itch for the golf club.
Okay, I'm also not left-handed, but this is a lighting issue, so.
Oh, okay.
Just
so
putting
we
that
have
out
to,
there.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's going to look a little different than my normal stroke.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
Oh, I was trying to use the bumpers. That was terrible.
Oh.
This reminds me of last summer.
Watching yourself. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You guys are gonna. Yeah. You guys can see my backside. I don't mind because I just need to The thing was like the same distance back, the same distance
Easy,
through,
easy,
right?
Jen. It really
Easy.
rolls fast
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
It's a fast roll. Okay, what's the break?
You heard Bill cranking him off the. That's hard. Oh, it's.
Oh, that's way too hard.
took out
Okay,
Rico's
okay,
camera.
one more time. Let's see.
Obviously, exciting time with the Masters next week, too.
Absolutely.
We got
that's the kickoff for
four
me,
Canadians
right?
in the field.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's
Jen,
not
that
as
was close.
easy. Oh my gosh.
And what about that? Because not only are
you
Canadians
go.
in the field, but they're competing. They're real contenders.
We've
aren't they,
got
Tim. That's sort of
a
good for the
great
whole
roster.
psychology of Canadian sport.
Both on the men's and women's side of really great athletes that are performing at the highest level. And so we've had one that win this year already with Nick
Yep.
Taylor, obviously a Canadian icon now after his performance
Yep.
at the Canadian Open last year. So he'll be back at the Canadian Open this year, which is May 28th to June 2nd at Hamilton Golf and Country Club.
And the only time you'll see us there would be in the stands rather than on the course.
Yeah,
because none of us have
probably.
made a putt yet. Tim, listen.
Oh,
Tim,
Tim just
Bill
won
did it. Hey,
it. It
buddy.
popped up.
Nicely
Bill
done. All right,
wins.
Bill
Good
did it.
job.
Tim, thanks so much for being here. Good
Great
luck
to
with
see
the
you.
event.
Thank you
Tim,
for
thank you
having
so
us.
much for that. They say everything old is new again, and if you subscribe to that motto, then you might want to wander down to the Queen Elizabeth Building at Exhibition Place this weekend for the Toronto Vintage Show. Erica Peck is the founder of Wild Thing Vintage. She's one of the vendors that you can find there, and she joins us live now on CP24 Breakfast. Erica, it's great to have you with us again.
Thank you for having me.
I love the things that you've brought in, so colorful. I know we want to show our viewers all these beautiful things, but let's talk about some of the items you have today, because spring is upon us and it's all about, you know, the colors and the trends, and I'm sure a lot of people looking for prom dresses this time of year.
Yes, prom is huge. So, you know, you have your classic, we call these cupcake dresses.
Ooh.
And this one's really nice because it has a little bolero jacket.
Right.
But there's all sorts of really beautiful statement formal pieces, which is really wonderful. And things like a candy apple red.
Oh my
The nice thing
gosh.
is that you can pick different decades and eras. And we also have a lot of size inclusive vintage vendors at the show. So whether you're a size 2 or 22, there's going to be something available, and also a very varied price range,
Oh my
which is really
gosh.
lovely as well.
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at
so I
this
brought
one
this
is
because
fabulous.
people have been so excited about Palm Royale on Apple TV,
Kirsten Wiig, yes.
which Lily Pulitzer, who designed this dress, and Malcolm Starr style dresses like this one,
Oh my
are
goodness.
just like in full beautiful glory on that show. And it's so exciting to watch because the costuming has been done so beautifully. And now, of course, people want to wear these looks and have them out. And I mean, imagine sweeping into
Something
an
like
incredible.
that. I mean, it's just amazing the things that you've curated, and you've done the Toronto Vintage Show. So what can people expect when they go there? Do they need to have an action plan before they
I have
shop?
hot tips for you. I
So,
am
yeah.
ready.
What are some of
Okay.
the tips?
So bring cash, because you can often swing a little deal if you have cash on hand. Another great tip is to wear layers so that you can try things on over top of what you're wearing if you don't want to have to go to the fitting rooms, which we do have as well.
Right.
Another really great tip is to go to the Toronto Vintage Show website and get a little show admin discount. Awesome.
Yeah.
Save your pennies to spend on amazing clothes and support small shops, shop local. And of course, this is the lowest possible waste way to shop. It's absolutely the most eco-friendly you can be. And the nice thing about vintage is that there's truly something for everybody in every size. With
my
every
gosh.
budget.
It's just so many different styles. You've got the suede, the textures. I mean, there's a poncho over there. I mean, and it's one of a kind, right? That's the beauty. You're not going to find someone else wearing the same thing. I mean, maybe, but highly unlikely
And
because
sometimes
it's so
it's
unique.
small details like this amazing
bird.
peacock.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Wow.
And you know, the other thing I will say is that I've brought a lot of really incredible statement pieces today, but a lot of style right now is just like a pair of Levi's with a tank top and something sort of interesting or unique over top of it. And you can do that with fringed leathers, a really gorgeous vintage basic black leather jacket. So if you're seeing
this
this
one.
and thinking this is not me, we have something truly for everybody. Are
Just
you
like
feeling lucky, punk?
Statement pieces. Like this is very like Kiss.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
other thing
Yeah.
is if you're a major
I'm gonna try this
designer
on.
collector, if you're really into hunting for those label pieces.
Right.
It's an amazing place. You'll never find things
Like
anywhere else in
vintage
the
designer
city.
brands. And I have a question about that because sometimes you look at it and you're like, okay, this is like a vintage Cartier or whatever, or, you know, a Louis Vuitton. How much should you be paying for that? I know that it's going to be more expensive than something that isn't a big brand name, but like, what's the kind of upper limit or lower limit you would think?
Well, the amazing thing is that it's always available at a fraction of the cost of what it was originally.
Yeah.
And vendors really go to the ends to authenticate their goods. So the prices, of course, are always going to vary. And also, I will say is if you happen to go to a certain vendor and find a few pieces, you're always going to get a great deal the more you buy.
Right.
So it's really difficult to tell because different brands carry different values at different times. But the amazing thing about the show is that you can find high-low, and we also say quiet luxury, which will be just a very minimal cashmere cardigan that has a gorgeous label on it, and available at actually a quite reasonable price.
For sure.
We have this really great Kenzo Paris cardigan.
That is beautiful.
And the back has some surprises in store.
Oh, that's awesome. Erica, I wish we had more time, but you're going to be at the Toronto Vintage Show this weekend. We're also giving our viewers away tickets to this show. All you have to do is keep watching. Tell us, you know, a piece of item that you just can't get rid of in your wardrobe to contest at CP24.com. Erica, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much
Thanks for coming in. Good luck at the show.
Thank you so
Amazing
much.
stuff. Thank you.
Well, the congestion on the Don Valley Parkway in Gardner will look a whole lot different on Sunday, June 2nd, when 10,000 cyclists will be riding on those highways, all in support of brain health and Baycrest. And 3 of those cyclists will be former Maple Leafs captains Daryl Sittler, Wendell Clark, and Rick Vive. Who needs Legends Row down outside Scotiabank Arena when I got 3 Leafs legends here with me this morning? This is absolutely fantastic. And I want to pick on something in Evie right here because it says Sittler, Clark, and Vive will be riding in the event. Wendell, you haven't confirmed.
Well, I've only gone as far as the tricycle so far. I haven't got to the 2 wheels yet, so I'm on the trike.
Right on. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get all 3 of you out there.
He's a game day decision.
Game day decision.
That's when he plays, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Vive and I got a cart behind our bikes hooked up ready in case he can't.
Very smart. Yeah, exactly. Maybe a little sidecar or something. Okay, but let's talk about this, Rick. I mean, you know, Baycrest obviously does some amazing work here. What's it like for you to be involved in something like this to help brain health?
Oh, it's fabulous. I mean, you know, so many of us have had relatives that have, you know, suffered with dementia and that sort of stuff. And we play in the hockey tournament every year, and it's a lot of fun. And you're also raising money for a great cause. They do wonderful stuff at Baycrest, and you know, try and find ways what happens, why it happens, and try to correct that. So for me, it's pretty important because you know, I'm getting a little up there now too, so I got to worry about myself a little bit.
Yeah, it's a reality of life, isn't it, Daryl? And you're also trying to really raise the most money, kind of issuing a challenge here as well, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, the 3 captains, and if you're out there and you want to, you know, raise some money and pick a team to support, hey, and then you get to come down, win a prize, maybe go to a Leaf alumni event with one of us, a Leaf game. And I've ridden in the Baycrest bike ride the last couple of years. It's a wonderful experience. When you're down there and the city's closed down and you're riding on that Gardner Expressway up the Don Valley, and there's lots of parking there. It's easy to get there. And you don't have to be a great bike rider. You can do it all sorts of levels. You can go 10K if you want, 25K. And there's lots of kids and families, and it's a great event for a great cause. And our Leaf alumni have been involved with Baycrest for a lot of years here. You know, we have the hockey, but now we're getting involved with this, and it's all for the right reasons.
Absolutely. I mean, just a quick stat here. You know, more than 500,000 Canadians are currently living with Alzheimer's, you know, and forms of dementia. That's 1 out of every 4 Canadians over 85. Wendell, it must be great. You know, you're all wearing your Leafs alumni jackets here to be able to take the fame and celebrity that you have and help raise money for important causes.
Well, it's great. It's the greatest thing about being a member and playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs and having such a great alumni is we're able to do these things, help give back, help be in the community, and living in such a great community where they are huge hockey fans, and they're the ones that come out and help raise money and donate the money. We're there to hopefully help facilitate it, make it a little more fun if we can with the events. But it's been a great city to play in and a great city to be a former hockey player in. So we're out just helping raise money, riding some bikes. And if I am riding the bike, I'll be rubbing a few guys out in the guardrail. I'm just telling you right now, if I'm riding the bike,
right in the,
those guardrails aren't safe.
Yeah, look out for Wendell.
Let me ask you the same question, Rick, because, you know, of course, as a Leafs captain, you have a certain stature in this city as well. I mean, legendary status, realistically. To be able to take that and help a cause as close to, you know, Baycrest as well, you know, to use that, how does that feel to you personally?
It feels great. I mean, you know, the fact that, you know, because of what I did and played in this city and was a captain and so on, and it gives you that opportunity to help different causes and raise money. And I mean, it's fabulous. It's like, you know, I mean, I don't consider myself, you know, a big time name or anything, that sort of thing. But in Toronto, it's a little bit different. So it gives me the opportunity to help out certain causes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just talk about your career post-hockey, Darryl. I mean, you talk about, you know, you like to ride a bike, things like that. Keeping active must be so important, especially as someone who was as active as you were during your career.
Well, I retired in '85. I'm 73 now. Yeah, it's important to try to stay healthy. Obviously, they've proven with activity and running or jogging, bike riding, it helps your brain. It keeps your brain healthy. You know, I've always been a believer, and still to this day, every day you get up, I get up, your audience gets up, you have a choice. And we as people have opportunities put in front of us, and this is an opportunity, and you have an opportunity to get involved in it, and you can make a difference. I know if you sit on the sidelines and do nothing, probably nothing much is going to happen. Right. So through my experience, it's been great. And again, we just want to raise as much money, raise as much fun, but more importantly, to help the next generation go through this this whole thing with dementia and Alzheimer's.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And so, Wendell, you're each captaining your own teams here. I realize everyone's on the same team that day, but how much competitive fire is there to see if your team can raise the most?
Well, we're hoping that's the whole thing. We're a part of it, and hopefully everybody signs up, picks their captain who they want to be a part of, and raise as much money, compete, raising the money, and we'll see who's in the alumni box at the end now.
I challenge those grandmothers out there to.
Yeah. The grandmother.
My team.
Yeah,
those young grandmothers.
These guys that hang out in Florida, they're on the bike all the time.
Or a golf cart, perhaps. Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, Wendell, Darryl, Rick, so great to meet you. So great that you're working with Baycrest this year. Good luck to all of you, and thanks for being here this morning on CP24 Breakfast.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you so much.